Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a video on this, and you may be wondering, well, what on earth is this? Does it look like a mouthpiece in an oversized box? Well, no, it is in fact a ligature. There is a ligature in here which has been designed by the wonderful team at Roberto's Winds. They're a specialist saxophone reseller in New York City. They make wonderful reeds that we sell that you may be aware of, and for 2 years now they've been R&Ding this particular premium level ligature. So obviously in a moment I'm going to demonstrate it and talk about it, but before we do that I think it's very much worthy of an unboxing. As we open it up, we're presented with the ligature in this insert here, and it states here, this is the ultimate tool for that best sound we're all looking for. It sings, states Roberto Romeo. So let's just look at the ligature in question. So it's got this egg-like shape to it, and then within the ligature itself you can see this internal wall. So there's a kind of space, a void between this internal wall and the outer wall, which gives this extra ability for the sound, the frequencies to resonate. You've got this highly engineered plate here with these ridges on. I'll talk about that in a minute because we've got some further plates inside. We've got this screw here which actually adjusts the height of the plate, and we've got this grooved line here which indicates which way round you should have it. So that's the ligature. If I pull this top section off, I just love the way it does that, brilliant. Inside we have another layer of delights. So we have a nice little polishing cloth there, and then behind that we have a whole set of instructions. And then behind that we have this set of stuff. So you can see here there is a red cap that actually perfectly pops onto the ligature. It's a very satisfying kind of clicking sound as this latches onto the ligature. So yeah, great job there. Just behind the cap we have this lovely little wooden screwdriver which will help us to adjust the plates. So talking of which, we have 3 further plates here. There are thicker lines on this plate here and thinner lines on this one here to give you just a slightly different response. What a presentation. Now I have to admit, I'm not particularly a ligature kind of guy. I tend to have the feeling that, and the belief that, a ligature should really primarily perform the function of holding the reed securely to the mouthpiece, and it needs to do so securely, as in it shouldn't sort of emphasize one side or the other, but it needs to evenly push it against the table. Of course the table needs to be nice and flat and balanced on the mouthpiece in the first place, and if you can do all of that, then the primary things in terms of your setup are the reed and the mouthpiece. I've banged on it about in the past, and I'll just redefine my belief there. But where these premium manufacturers of ligatures do come into their own is there's a lot of technology that these guys look into in terms of absolutely enhancing the overall setup and just fine-tuning it and tweaking it such that there's more than just that functionality thing, but there's extra resonances going on. And I think that's what Roberto Winds are trying to do with this. So my initial experiences, I have to say, when I first tried it, I could hear something going on. I was A-Bing it back and forth, and perhaps I just couldn't quite define it in my head, and I just needed a little bit more time. And actually by the end of the day, after some lunch and fine-tuning my body with the ligature and the reed, and then going back to the original ligature, I could really start to get it. So sometimes I think you need to give these things a bit of time. So that was my sort of initial playing experiences when it came out the box a few weeks ago. We are now a few weeks later, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you now, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, so there you go. You've heard them both. The Uovo ligature against the very standard Dave Guardala strap ligature, which is a fairly basic ligature. And just before I get into it and really sort of describe my feelings, I'd just like to say that I've actually been now gigging this ligature. I just thought it'd be interesting. They so kindly sent this ligature to me, and I was very touched and taken aback. I thought I'd really give it the benefit of the doubt and take it out on gigs. I've been doing a lot of gigging at weekends recently. It's always on this tenor, and it certainly turns heads, I will tell you that now, because just look at this thing. And it's not just this, of course, it's the big red box that I take out every time I come to a gig. What is that you're opening up there, Jim? That huge red box. It's ridiculous, but I very proudly explain the whole thing. Anyway, so I put this ligature on, and I have a nice feeling before I'm about to do the gig, because I feel that I have this premium ligature that perhaps before I was a little bit skeptical about, but I've really been getting into it and I've really been enjoying it. And whether it's doing anything absolutely incredible to my sound or not, I'll touch on in a little bit. I'm not sure, but it certainly gives me this wonderful feeling of confidence that I've got this wonderful setup. I love this Guardala mouthpiece, and I've got this premium ligature, and I have to say, I'm just really enjoying the resonance. And so the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 gigs I've done has been with this, and I've really enjoyed it. So anyway, let's cut back to what you have just heard there. So in general terms, I feel that the sound with the strap ligature, if you call that the sort of the default, is a bit more veiled and guarded. And when we move on to this Uovo ligature, the idea is we've got this resonating field of sound going on here. You know, there's all this space between the mouthpiece and the ligature, and you've got this extra resonance going on. And I do feel that resonance. I'm going to use the word feel because it's very much a player thing here. You feel it right in front of you. You feel this vibration. How much that is transmitting to the listener is debatable, but certainly you feel it, and you can kind of use it to your advantage. You can kind of squeeze the juice out of it and really enjoy those notes, knowing that you can expand on a note and feel that extra resonance. It just gives you a bit of extra confidence in the way you perform. So I think that is part of it, and that's probably more than 50% of it when it comes to specialist ligatures like this. But you know, all that aside, they have done some incredible work in terms of the production of this, the accuracy of the plates, the way everything is positioned so accurately, as I say, in order to absolutely optimize the absolute maximum sound enhancement that you can possibly get. And I think that the guys there have done a really great job with this. So yes, it has an expensive price tag, but you have to say well justified when you consider what has gone into it. So in conclusion, is this a ligature for your average player? It's perhaps not a ligature for beginners. I wouldn't necessarily advise that, because it is like the icing on the cake. It's real nuanced stuff. But if you're seriously into your playing and you just love, you realize the saxophone is all about the sound, and you're just after sound and optimization, and you already have a great setup, but you're just thinking perhaps you could do something with a ligature, well, it's well worth giving this ligature a go and trying it out, just for all the reasons I've explained there. So I feel like I've been converted over a period of several weeks of initially seeing it and thinking, not sure about that, to proudly sitting here with this Uovo ligature on my mouthpiece. So check it out, guys. We're going to be stocking this ligature, no doubt, in the coming weeks. And just a shout out to you guys at Roberto's Winds for doing a fantastic job on this ligature.